WWE Backlash review, let's get into it. First of all, I need to talk about that French crowd. Oh my, you guys deserve a clap, a round of applause, because you guys were on it the whole damn night. From start to finish, absolutely electric. Probably the best crowd I've ever seen or ever watched at a pay-per-view, like ever. You beat the Puerto Rico crowd, you beat the London crowd. You guys were just phenomenal, like you guys sang the whole night. Absolutely phenomenal. Great stuff all night. But let's get into the first match. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton taking on the Bloodline of Tama, Tonga and Solo Sikoa. And this was meant to be a normal standard 2-on-2 tag team match. But they started off hot. They started going at each other. The refs were trying to split them up. The security was trying to split them up so that the match could get started. And out comes Nick Aldis, and he's had enough of this. So he makes it a street fight, and now I'm excited even more for this match because I thought we were going to see a certain somebody, but we saw a certain somebody else. But I'll get into that. The match itself, great stuff. They started fighting in the crowd as per usual, and the French crowd was loving it. The chants were flying left, right, and center. They sang Randy Orton's theme song as he came in, even louder than last night on SmackDown. This was just so good. Then they started getting the weapons involved. We saw tables getting broken. I mean, Kevin Owens then did a frog splash off the apron onto or through Tama Tonga. We saw Solo Sikoa go through a table. We saw Randy do a RKO onto the announce table when Solo Sikoa was about to do the Samoan spike on the announce table. So this was so good. Trash cans were getting involved, smashed on people's heads, kendo sticks. Everything you can think of was involved in this match, which was exactly what it needed. Then we saw Kevin Owens on the top. You know, you can't superplex Kevin Owens. Everyone should know this. Anyway, he ends up landing his fisherman brainbuster onto chairs that are laid out. Tama Tonga was absolutely done for. He goes for the pin. Ref gets pulled out at 2. Who is it? Tanga Loa. Tanga Loa from New Japan. Gorillas of Destiny are in WWE. Who would have thought? That's wild. I thought we were going to see Jacob Fatu. I was hoping for Jacob Fatu. You guys, or if some of you guys may know how much I love Jacob Fatu and can't wait to see Jacob Fatu in WWE. But we got Tanga Loa, the brother of Tama Tonga. I'm expecting maybe a little Hikuleo at some point. He's their third brother, 7-foot giant. You guys, if you don't know him, go check him out. Hikuleo is in New Japan. Anyway, so this new bloodline is being formed. We've got Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tanga Loa all involved. And anyway, they ended up getting the win after Solo dropped Kevin Owens onto a chair. I think he hit a spike, and then they got the win. So Bloodline standing tall in this one. We then had the women's triple threat match between Bayley, Tiffany Stratton, and Naomi. And this was an absolute banger match. I do think the crowd were excited all night. I don't know if they were paying attention to the match though, because they were just chanting random things the whole time. I know they did that in other matches, but it felt like they were paying attention to the other matches as well. Maybe there was just so much going on. But anyway, still great stuff. These guys, or these women, actually put on a really good match. And I thought this could be a sleeper for match of the night. And it was good. By no means was it bad. It was really good, but there were some real bangers on the show. Anyway, Tiffany Stratton looked like an absolute star as per usual. She landed some Alabama slams onto the announce tables to both Naomi and to Bayley. She then threw them into the ring looking for her prettiest moonsault onto both of them like she did on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago. She missed that. She landed on her feet. They took her out with a 1D, shout out the Usos, and of course shout out the Dudleys. Theirs was 3D, but you get what I'm trying to say. And then it was between Naomi and it was between Bayley at the end. And Bayley ended up getting a roll-up pin onto Naomi, which I guess keeps Naomi looking somewhat strong. And I'm assuming we're going to get now Bayley and Tiffany Stratton for a little while if Nia Jax doesn't get involved. But really good match. Maybe the finish was slightly flat. But really good stuff, quick roll-up pin, and Bayley retains, which is the important factor. And Bayley was all these women were over with this crowd. All of them were over. Tiffany getting Tiffy time chance, Naomi getting glow chance, Bayley getting the hair, Bayley, that chance. And good stuff all around. I'm happy for all of them. We then had one match which might have been an upset tonight, and that was Damian Priest versus Jey Uso. And before the match, we saw the Bloodline confronting Jey Uso, a little bit of a stare down between the three new members, or the three members, and then Paul Heyman looking at Jey and shaking his head. So clearly something is going to happen there at some point. But I thought that was going to be like an involvement in that match. I thought maybe Jacob Fatu would then get involved in that match and cost Jey, but that never happened. Onto the match. Typical Jey Uso match. I didn't like I know he was super over because the crowd absolutely loved his entrance, doing the whole thing with the yeeting and the lights and everything. Really good stuff. But then as the match started, Jey decided he needs to do some more yeets. I didn't like that because it's like, are you taking this match serious? It's a world title match. Damian Priest is right in front of you. Yeah, that's the only little thing I didn't enjoy. Sometimes I think Jey needs to take things a bit more serious for his character, because I think that's kind of what's hindering from getting that singles title run, the fact that he's still a little bit comedic. And I know that's what we love about him, but there's times to turn it up, times to turn it down. You get what I'm saying? But with that being said, this was great stuff, great match. Jey Uso doing his thing, super kicks flying, cross bodies, suicide dives, all of that. Damian Priest landing a Razor's Edge and Jey kicking out of that. Damian Priest also kicked out of an early Uso splash. There was a South of Heaven that Jey kicked out of. JD McDonough then got involved. Finn Balor got involved, saving Damian Priest a couple times. But then, obviously, Damian Priest wasn't quite happy with this. He got in JD's face. At the end of it, they actually helped Damian Priest get the win with the South of Heaven, and he got the win on Jey Uso. Easy as that. I'm glad Damian Priest won. I really like Jey Uso. I wouldn't have minded. But I think it's Damian Priest's time to really step it up a notch and show people he deserves to be in this main event spot. Because before the cash-in, I was like, he's not ready. But that cash-in just put me there, man. It just made me like this guy even more and made me want to root for him to do well in the main event scene. We then had Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill taking on the Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi Sane for the women's tag team titles. And this match was going steady. Bianca Belair was doing all the work. Jade came in for a quick cameo in the beginning. Then Bianca Belair was doing all the work, taking all the offense from the Kabuki Warriors, looking for that hot tag the whole night, getting stopped from the hot tag, looking for it, getting stopped, looking for it. That sort of style match. It got a bit excessive. It was like, okay, let's see Jade now. And not to the point where you're like, oh, I so badly want to see Jade. It was kind of like, this is getting annoying. Let's see Jade. Anyway, Jade came in. She started off strong, started off looking good. And then something went wrong. One of the moves went wrong. And it's like Jade lost her head and she didn't quite know where to go from here. And it just all collapsed. Kairi Sane was doing pins when she wasn't the legal tag or the really legal person in the match. Then she didn't want to tag out and she eventually tagged out. Then she tried to do a submission even after the ref told you can't do a pin. That was not good. And then it took a while for Jade to really find her place. I suppose there might have been a language barrier as well, with Bianca out on the side. Maybe if she was in there with someone without that language barrier, she might have been able to quickly find her position. Obviously, she's a little bit less skilled, so she does need that assistance. Whereas, like, if Bianca Belair was in there and something went wrong, she would have been able to quickly pick it up, even with the language barrier. So it is a Jade Cargill issue. It looked really, really bad at points. It looked like it was falling apart, but they ended up saving it. She had an awesome move where she had Kairi on her shoulders, spun her around, then threw her down, caught her in the Jaded, and then landed the Jaded, allowing Bianca Belair to land the KOD from Asuka onto Kairi and get the win. And we have new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Very predictable, very expected, but still good to see. This story is going to get really interesting. I think it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic between them two, as well as Bayley in the background, because we saw that get started on SmackDown recently. Or not get started, but reignite on SmackDown recently. We then had the match of the night, Cody Rhodes taking on AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. This was such a good match. I knew it was going to be good. I knew it was going to be good. But they gave them time to work, and boy, did they work. This was a really, really good match. We saw 450 splashes, springboard 450s. We saw Cody cutters off the ropes. Cody cutters off the top rope. We saw superplexes. We saw disaster kicks. We saw I don't even think we saw a phenomenal forearm, which I'll get into. We saw Kimura locks, Brock Lesnar return maybe. We saw so much in this match. You know what I'm really glad about? We didn't get a Styles Clash kicked out of. Unless I missed it. But we didn't get a Styles Clash kicked out of. We didn't get a phenomenal forearm kicked out of. We might have had a forearm, but I cannot remember it. We didn't have a Crossroads kicked out of. We had none of that. They kicked out of all their signatures, perfectly fine, but protect the finishes, and I really, really like that. And they went for their finishes throughout the match. It was kind of New Japan style, constantly trying to land those finishes. But which is a shout out to the Bullet Club. They were both leaders of the Bullet Club at some point. Although they keep saying that. Was Cody ever a leader? He might have kicked Kenny out. I can't remember. But great match. This is a 5-star classic in my opinion. A really, really good match. One of Cody's best matches in WWE. I'd say it's up there with the recent Roman match, but obviously that is just clear because of the story. Then I'm thinking two of the three Seth Rollins matches. So the WrestleMania match and the Hell in a Cell match and this match. Any one of those three matches could be Cody's second best match in WWE in my opinion. It was that damn good. With that being said, this whole show was amazing. The crowd in the main event singing phenomenal every 2 minutes. Absolutely insane. They sang the French national anthem. They sang Kingdom. They sang everything. They were so up for it, and it just makes me badly want a pay-per-view in my home country. When is there going to be a pay-per-view in South Africa? When? Triple H, let me know. With that being said, I enjoyed this show so much. Banger matches all around. The only dull point was the Jade Cargill moments. Everything else was absolutely good. Tanga Loa, I would rather see Jacob Fatu, but I'm still happy to see where the story goes because it's more about the story than the people, in my opinion. With that being said, let me know what you guys thought of this pay-per-view. This is a nice short review. If you're looking for more reviews weekly, we do just about every single show that happens between WWE and AEW, whether that's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, and the pay-per-views. So, with that being said, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the review. Peace.